Good evening, family. Welcome to Let's Talk. Come on in the room. Let's have a conversation. I am excited, you all, about this evening's guest. Um, the information that she's going to share with us is truly going to be a blessing. So come on, hurry up and get in the room, if you will. Hey, and as you're coming, do me a favor, if you will. You know what I'm about to say. Push that share button on your devices and let's spread the word, the good news. This information, y'all, is going to be a blessing to each and every one of us. And I think we ought to treat it like we do a good piece of gossip. We ought to share it with as many people as we can. Y'all know how we do gossip. Let's share this information on this evening like we're sharing gossip. All right, all right. Hey, we're gonna get started in 2 good minutes because I want to step aside and allow this evening's guest to have the floor and share her wisdom, her advice with us on this evening. It's Ash Wednesday, y'all. Ash Wednesday. Can you believe that we're in the Lent season already as we're approaching that Sunday that we all live for? Easter Sunday. Can you believe that we're already in the season, in the Easter season? Come on in the room. Hey, if you haven't, if you're just now joining us, push, mash. I'm talking country to y'all on this evening. Mash that share button on this evening, and let's share this word. This evening's guest, y'all, is Thais Murphy. I had the pleasure being introduced to her. I don't have to give credit where credit is due. I was introduced to her by Bridget doing financial freedom. When we were in the small group, when we are having our small group, she facilitated one of our small group sessions, shared information with us that I thought was like, man, this information is too good just for us to hear. I've got to get her on Let's Talk as soon as I can. Extended the invitation. She graciously accepted it. And here we are today. So without further ado, as my mama always used to tell me, good meat makes its own gravy. So, hey, I'm gonna let you do the cooking now and share with us your wisdom, your knowledge. Again, before I be quiet, before I hush up, mash those share buttons on your devices. Let's spread the good news and this information that Thais is about to lay in our laps. Thais, I thank you again for joining us on the day. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you for having me here this evening. Again, my name is Thais Murphy. I am originally from Peekskill, New York. I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. I have 2 small children. Milani, she's 4, and Makai, he's 1. And I currently attend Clayton State University. And I will be graduating this May. And so I started my business. Yes, I will be graduating, thank God. But I started my business in credit restoration back in April. And so I'm going to let you all know basically how I got started. Everybody has a story, and I hope that my story will resonate with you. So back in 2017, when I had my daughter, she was born prematurely. And so, she had to stay in the hospital um, about a month. And that was very hard. But with her having to stay in the hospital, I had medical bills. And so those medical bills, I didn't account for. I accounted for me having my baby, the birth of my baby, but not her staying in the hospital. And so got the bills, and I'm like, I can't afford this. I just had a child. And so I let time pass by. As time passed by, I purchased my home. My credit score was in the 800s, and I purchased my vehicle. And so months down the road, I get letters in the mail. You have to pay this debt. And I'm like, I can't pay this. And so I let time go by. So fast forward to 2019, I had my son. When I had my son, my grandmother passed away. And that was on November 15th, 2019. And so I was a caretaker for 4 years. And she was in her 90s when she passed away. So I got a lot of wisdom. I gained a lot of wisdom from having my grandmother, move to Atlanta with me. So, after I had my son, we get home and my mother-in-law, she moves in with us, and she has stage 4 cancer. And so 6 weeks later, which was in January, a week before my daughter's birthday, she passes away. And so in the midst of this, I'm in school. I have a 2-year-old, I have a newborn, and I just lost 2 people that were very close to me. And so my first lady reached out to me after I went back to work. I work for Morehouse School of Medicine as well. And she said, I want everybody that's around me to fix themselves. And I'm like, I'm not thinking about fixing myself. I've just went through 2 deaths that were devastating. I'm in school. I'm trying to keep my sanity straight for my children. I'm not thinking about fixing myself. And so I said, you know what? What do I have to lose? I don't have to lose anything. But my credit score, my bad credit score, and it was a 630, which, some people think that's not bad. But to me, it wasn't excellent. And so I said, okay, what do I need to do? And so she told me, this is what you need to do. You have to enroll. I enrolled. I followed the process. 45 days passed by. Mind you, I have a whole bunch of stuff going on, so I'm not thinking about my credit score. I followed the process. That was done and over with. 45 days later, I get letters back from the credit bureaus. Deleted. I said, oh, okay. Check my credit score. My credit score is now a 775. So I went from a 630 to a 775 within 45 days. Now, I can't guarantee that for everyone, but that's my story, and that's how my credit went. Now, 3 weeks later, I get another medical bill. Now, when my daughter was in the NICU, I had medical bills and my daughter had medical bills, but they were all in my name. So regardless, I still had medical bills. And so I get an alert because we have credit monitoring and identity monitoring as well. And I get an alert on my credit that somebody pulled my credit report and something was added. And I'm like, I haven't used my credit for anything. So what is this? So I sign on and I see that it's another medical bill. And so I'm like, oh my God, I just got this cleared up. Now I have another one. So contacted the company, United Credit Education Services. And I said, what do I do? So they told me, all you have to do is send in the documentation, and the credit attorneys will draft up more letters and either send them to you in a PDF form or mail them to you. That's what happened. So I got my letters. I mailed my letters off. 2 weeks later, my score goes to an 804. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay. So then my first lady, Lorana Phelps, reaches back out to me and is like, so how is everything going? I tell her my story, my journey. And she says, so how would you like to start your own business? I said, start my own business. Now, this is April 2020 when we're in a whole pandemic. I don't know what's going on with my job. And I have 2 small children I have to fend for. So I'm like, yes, I'll do it. What do I need to do? So I enrolled. Now, that process was smooth. I mean, it was smooth. It took less than 5 minutes. I enrolled. I helped so many families in 50 days that I went from an agent to a regional sales director with financial education services. And so that was a huge blessing for me because of everything that I've been through. I was able to help other people. And that's what it's about. It's about helping other people. You think that I can't be helped. You think that, my credit score is at a 300 or I don't have any credit at all. Credit restoration is not bad. Actually, I actually tried to go in and dispute the medical bills that was on my credit report for 2 years, and they stayed on my credit. I enrolled in United Credit Education Services. In 45 days, it was deleted off my credit report. So I didn't even ask for help. Help came to me. So sometimes when help comes to you, you have to take that help. We have 12 products and services. We have credit monitoring. You definitely need to monitor your credit. Like I said, I had an 800 credit score. If somebody steals my identity, I want to know. You want to know. We have identity monitoring. We have a will and trust. Now, like I stated, I had my grandmother. There's a lot of things that I did not know. I didn't. I'm just going to be honest. I was 25 years old with an 80-year-old grandmother, taking care of her, trying to figure out, okay, I have to mentally be prepared to take care of her, financially be prepared to take care of her, physically be able to take care of her. There's just so many different things that I had to do for my grandmother, which actually helped prepare me for motherhood. And so a will and trust, right? You want to be able to protect your family. COVID happened. So many people passed away and did not have a will and trust in place. You think, oh, I can't afford it. You can afford it. It's affordable. Our protection plan is $188. It's a one-time fee of $188. That includes your first month of service. It's an $89 monthly subscription fee, but you can cancel it at any time. We advise that you stay at least 3 months because of the process, but you can't beat that. You also can get your services for completely free. You help 5 individuals within that qualifying month, that $89 fee is waived. So you don't have to come out of your pocket for anything. You're helping other people and you're helping yourself. And that's what it's about. And so my company, Milani J. Vonna Credit Counseling Services, I was able to LLC my company. You get tax benefits. When you become an agent, you not only get the same products and services, you get life insurance. You can get up to $100,000 of life insurance that the company gives to you. Where do they do that? I want to know. If there's other companies out there, please let me know. But it's $288. It's a one-time payment to start your own business. We have millionaires in this company just off of paying $288, a one-time payment. And the same thing, you pay an $89 monthly subscription fee. You're a product of the product. Now, if you don't need to use the product, you don't have to worry about it, because if you're constantly helping other individuals, you don't have to pay that monthly subscription fee, and you're also getting paid. And so let me talk to you about locking your credit. You want to make sure that you lock your credit. Now, I'm going to talk from 2 standpoints. I'm going to talk from a child standpoint, and I'm going to talk from a senior standpoint, and in between. And so a senior, you don't want them to be, they're vulnerable. You want to make sure that your parents are straight. You want to make sure that you go in and you lock their credit. It doesn't matter if they have good credit, bad credit, no credit. You want to make sure that you lock their credit, because you don't want anyone trying to steal their identity. Now, from a child's standpoint, now I know a lot of people do know that there are people out there who use their children's credit. You shouldn't do that. You should not put your child in that predicament, because, you know, they're going to get older and they're going to be like, okay, what happened? So let's just say, for instance, a mother wants to use their child's credit, but the father put a lock on their credit. You can't use their credit. So you're protecting your child, right? Let's talk about utilization. You want to make sure that you have a 30% utilization rate and a mixture of credit. A mixture of credit is you want to have different credit cards. You want to have a mortgage. If you don't have a mortgage, you want to have a car note payment. You want to have a mixture of credit. That shows the lenders you know how to manage your money and you can pay it back. I'm going to go back to my car. My first car I had a 19% interest rate. That is extremely high. I'm paying on it for 7 years. That's high. My car got totaled. Me and my daughter was in a hit and run when she was 10 months old. And so I was able to get any car I wanted. I went to the car lot and they said to me, "Oh, you have an 800 credit score. You can get anything you want off this lot. You just have to be able to afford it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I can get anything off this lot I want." And so I had to think, okay, I have a child. I need to think smart. I need to think smart. And so I did. My interest rate, 4%. I looked at my interest I paid last year. It was less than $1,000 compared to paying over thousands of dollars prior to me having an 800 credit score. You want to make sure that you are checking your credit. Right now, my credit report, free credit report, you can get your credit report free up until April of this year. You can check your credit every week if you wanted to. You want to make sure that you're checking your credit. There's always inconsistencies. So you want to make sure that you know what's going on. It's nothing like you knowing what's going on with you versus you having somebody else try to figure out what's going on with you. You know what's yours and you know what's not yours. So let me talk about YFL Family Mint. I am really, really happy that we have this program with United Credit Education Services because it teaches children between the ages of 8 through 18 about finances. Right now, I don't know if anyone knows, but young adults between the ages of 18 through 24 are the fastest growing age for filing bankruptcy. That's sad because they don't know. Their parents don't know. And if they do know, they're not teaching them. You have to teach your children because the next generation is going to grow up and they're going to repeat our cycles. How private are the credit repair services? What do you mean, how private? Can you elaborate on that, please, Ms. Miller? You want to make sure that you are taking care of your financial literacy, your financial freedom. It's yours. You have to put yourself in a better position. You can't wait on somebody else to put you in a better position. Pastor, you have any questions for me?
I'm going to reserve them until after you. Right now, I'm digesting everything you're saying, taking my notes, and then I'll ask what questions I have. But I will say to the others that's tuned in, feel free to type your questions, your comments. As you can see, Thais can see them so that she can answer your individual questions that you may have.
So to answer your question, will anyone else know that I'm working on your credit? No, they won't know unless you tell them. But like if you were to, let's just say you're working on your credit, right? And you refer somebody, you don't have to tell them that you're working on your credit. You can just say, I know somebody who is able to help individuals restore their credit. I mean, you don't have to say that you're restoring your credit. But there's nothing wrong with telling your story because, everybody has a story. For instance, one of my business partners, right, had over $100,000 in student loans. They were in the program for over a year, paying $89 some months, because some months they referred individuals, right? That $100,000 was deleted off of their credit. And they have proof it was deleted off their credit. And so $100,000 in student loans, I mean, that's amazing. To have that deleted off your credit, I know that's a burden. Because I know the $10,000 in student loans I have right now, I'm like, oh, okay, I got to pay this when I graduate. So I've also had clients who've had more than one student loan on their credit. And it took them 60 days to get 3 off. And then it took another 60 days to get another 2 off. It just depends on your credit. Everybody doesn't have the same, you may have a bankruptcy. I may have a student loan. My student loan may come off before your bankruptcy. I've had clients who've had foreclosures deleted off their credit report. Everybody's story is different and everybody's process is different. That's just like if you enroll in the protection plan and you keep your letters at home and you don't send your letters off until like 2 months later. You can't get mad that you didn't get the results when you were, thinking you were going to get the results. So that 45 days now turned into 60 days because you held on to your letters. So the process, you get your dispute letters. You have to sign your dispute letters, right? Because it's illegal for us to sign your name. You'd sign your letters and you attach 2 forms of identification. That could be your driver's license and your social security card. You mail those letters off. The credit bureaus have up to 45 days to respond back to you. Sometimes individuals don't know how to read the letters, and that's understandable. But you can either send it back to me, or I can give you the email address that you can send directly to the company, and then the attorneys will go in and update your profile. But we have a track record. You can check the status of your credit. We have Credit My Rent. I'm sorry, Credit My Rent. What is Credit My Rent? If you don't have a mortgage and you're renting, you can have that rental history reported to your credit. Now, I've had clients who've had 100 points increase by having Credit My Rent added and backdated for 2 years. You can go back up to 2 years. So we have different services and products to help you. We have secured credit cards. If you don't have any credit, you want to get you a secure credit card. You can put $500 on there, but make sure if you put $500 on there, although it's your money, you still only want to use less than 30% of that credit limit, because you don't want to go over that 30% utilization rate. It makes it look like you don't know how to manage your money. So you have any questions, Pastor? I see. Can you help with? Yes, we can help with student loans.
I do. I'll chime in with one now. So, and this question, I'm gonna preface this question with a statement. So, for the skeptic that's tuned in right now, that's watching this, hearing your illustrious presentation, saying to themselves, "Oh, she's just on here to sell a product." Because of course, we've seen the advertisement for credit repair, we've seen the signs for credit repair, and we've seen them, reviewed them with through the lens of skepticism, saying this is just a scam to get my money. Nothing's going to be done in return. After hearing your testimony, and talking about how you were a customer before you became you were a client before you became part of the company. What would you say to the skeptic that's watching, thinking that this is just another one of those infomercials, that nothing's really going to happen?
What I would say, I jumped head first. I didn't feel that I had anything to lose. So the only thing I had to lose was my bad credit. I didn't have anything to lose. What do you have to lose? You have a whole lot more to gain than you do to lose. And the good thing about it is I stay in contact with my clients. They can reach me at any time. They text me, they call me, and I make sure I follow up. So if you have any questions, you reach out to me, you contact me. I'm here with you to go through the process with you. It's a process. Just like it was a process to mess up your credit, it's a process to restore your credit. You can't think that this is just going to happen overnight, because you didn't mess your credit up overnight. Yeah, you may have gotten credit cards and ran them up. The bills were coming. The bills, as soon as the bill came, it didn't go on your credit report. So stop being fearful. Fear is the biggest killer. You're never going to get anywhere if you sit in fear. I would not be where I'm at now if I sat in fear. So take a chance. Take a chance. You're bet on yourself. You can't bet on anybody else. You have to bet on yourself. If you want better, you have to do better. So yes, there are individuals out there who are they're skeptical. Oh, I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if this is gonna work. I've had clients who were skeptical, but then they reached out to me because they were tired. They were tired of paying high interest. They were tired of getting no. They were I had a client reach out to me and tell me, I can't even get into an apartment. An apartment because my credit score is not allowing me to get into an apartment. Can you please help me? But you can't expect me to fix it overnight because you waited. You were skeptical. You have to jump. You have to. Don't let fear take over. Don't let it take over. And that's what I have to say, Pastor.
That's good. That's good information. And the other thing that the theme that I've been hearing uh, as you've been talking is I've heard you say repeatedly the theme of helping others. Your what you have done to help, and I think that's one of the things that really wanted me to bring you on to share this information because your presentation to the small group and even on this evening, I sense your sincere willingness to help individuals who are, as you said, are in the same predicament as you once were. And your willingness to reach back is your way of, service, being willing to reach back and avail yourself to them to provide the same assistance that was provided to you and being able to help them. So I want to commend you for that. And so, which my next question for you is, with that being said, and understanding that you have two young children, but what do you say to those that are tuned in now? Because I heard you saying the financial literacy that's offered for ages 8 to 18. And you and I haven't discussed this, but I'm pretty sure as soon as your children are of age to start doing this, there will be, I can see them being enrolled in this. What would you say to those that's tuned in with children, young adults, either children or young adults? What would you say to encourage them to have the discussion, the candid discussion about the importance financial management, but not only of that, but as you said, as you're willing to share your testimony, but being willing to be transparent with their kids and let them know the plight that they may be in order to help them avoid those same pitfalls.
So I'm gonna my 4-year-old Milani, right? She mimics me. She sees me when we go to the store. She has a credit card. She has a debit card. And so sometimes she's like, Mommy, can I pay? And I'm like, okay, Milani. And so your children mimic you. You want to make sure that you're setting goals for yourself, but also setting goals for your children. You have to break those generational curses. You have to do that. I told myself that I have to do that for my children. My children are not going to make the same mistakes if I can help it that I've made, especially with their finances. These times and days, a lot of people are losing their job. They don't know what they're going to do next. I want my children to be in a place to where they have a savings. They don't have to sit here and be afraid, oh, I'm going to get put out. Oh, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. Because, life does happen. But if you teach your children now, do you know how much that will save them in the future? that would really save them. You want to save the next generation. If you can't save yourself, you want to save the next generation, especially if it's your bloodline. So that's what I would say.
Awesome. Here's my next question. And hey, y'all, don't let me take up all of Thais's time with just me asking questions, because I know there's plenty of good questions that's tuning in as well. But my other question for you, Thais, is I've heard you talking about the services that are provided, and maybe I missed you say this, but is there any also financial education that's done for individuals that's enrolled? And what I mean by that is, I think back to when I was younger, and I would do something, especially in college. Mom, dad would give me money. I'd go out, I'd blow it, because I know as soon as I blow it, I can pick up the phone, call home, and say, "Hey, I need some more," to repeat that same process, that cycle. So, what is there anything that's provided for that individual that begins to use this as that crutch to say, okay, like I heard you say you had an 804 credit score and you went out to get your new vehicle after totaling yours and being told that, hey, anything on the lot, you qualify for it as long as you can make the payment. Some individuals, the younger right, would have been like, really? Give me that GL 450 that's sitting over there, or give me that Lexus fully loaded or whatever. But rather you were pragmatic. You said no, weighed, what was within your budget, and you purchased based on that, as opposed to just saying, hey, I got the credit to do it. So is there anything for that individual that's more like the younger right, that says, hey, I'm going to use this to build my credit up, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to accumulate all of these things. And when my credit score is jacked up again, I'll just pay, $188, or I'll just pay that extra $100 to become a partner and continue to just go through the cycle of repairing it just to mess it up, to accumulate more stuff?
So, that's a good question. We have a budgeting tool. If you want to throw your money away, then you go ahead and you throw your money away. But if you want to save for the future, then you save you think smart. You have to change your mindset. If you don't change your mindset, you're just going to keep repeating that cycle. And so we have a budgeting tool where you're able to budget. We have a savings goal. So if you want to save, let's just say 50,000 by the end of this year, you can use that savings goal to help you. But breaking generational curses. If you keep repeating that cycle, you're never going to break the generational curse. So you have to change your mindset. If you don't change your mindset, you're just going to keep repeating that cycle. So that is on the individual, Pastor. That's what I would say. It's on the individual. If you want to keep living like that, then, by all means, keep doing that. But if you want change and you want better, then I suggest you not do that.
Awesome. Hey, y'all. Questions, comments, if you have any. But lest I forget, I heard you say the name of your business, Thais, but will you again share that with us again so we can put it up on the site, on the Facebook page, and on the website for individuals that may be interested in reaching out to you in private and maybe asking questions or getting additional information?
I'm going to try to put it in the chat. Can I put it in the chat?
I'm not sure.
I don't think I can.
I'll tell you what, you can put it, you can put it in the, awesome.
Did you get it?
I did. And so
Okay.
I will put it. There you go, people.
My virtual
So
business
if you will write it down.
We have a video. How does it work? You can enroll. You can also look at the opportunity to become an agent as well.
Okay. Well, listen, since I don't see any other questions popping up, I'm going to keep on just reading off on my questions that I have then. Um, and those that are tuning in, don't judge me. If y'all saying this, yes, a pastor can't even multitask. I'm just updating the information to make sure. So we've updated Thais's information on the screen for those that may be interested in getting in touch with her, web address as well as her number, that you can reach out to her if you have any questions or anything else that you would may want to ask her in private. Feel free to do so. And again, we'll be putting this information up on the website and the Facebook page as well, so that you're able to reach out to her. And y'all, she's really showing just how serious she is about this. And I view this as a ministry of yours, Thais. She's sharing all her information. How y'all can get in touch with her. She's wanting to make sure that if he is, again, just updating the information as we go. My next question for you, Thais, is, you also mentioned, you talked about credit utilization and what you suggest, the 30%, and that seems to be, I guess that's like the industry's um, um, margin for credit utilization, because I've always heard that number, or either 29 or 30% in credit utilization. And so what would you say, what would be your advice for someone that's over that? What would be your suggestion for them being able to tackle um, the percentage of credit that they're utilizing to get it down?
I would start with the lowest debt you have. Start with the lowest, because it's the total utilization rate. So when you do look at your credit report, you might be 60% with one company, 15% with another company, but it's the total utilization rate. So start low to highest, so that way you can knock more down.
So it's accumulation and not, I've got credit card X maxed out, but I'm utilizing 50% of credit card Y. Your suggestion is, if credit card Y's balance is lowest, work on that, knocking Y down even below that 50% threshold, because it doesn't matter that X is showing as 100% utilization. They're looking at their big picture for the total. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. And I'm interested in knowing some more information about the financial literacy program that's offered to children ages 8 to 18. And I've shared this with you and when you did your presentation to us previously. One of the things that I would love to see us do, as financial freedom continues to evolve, and I shared this with Bridget and Anita as well. One of the things that I would love to see as it continues to evolve is to begin to provide a platform and begin to provide information for youth, to begin to allow them to start focusing on in being able to teach them the importance of financial management, and envision, how to maintain a bank account. And so what if you will elaborate a little bit more for us, the services that are offered through the financial literacy.
So with YFL Family Mint, parents have the opportunity to act as a banker to help the students help their children with their spending and saving decisions. So there's different goals that they can use. They have access. So basically, it's like they get to learn how to write checks. They get to learn how to save. They get to learn how to manage money. And so being enrolled, being a parent enrolled in this protection plan, that's included.
Okay. So that service is included in that plan with them for free.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yes.
Now you got my wheels turning. Huh. Good. Good deal. Hey, I'm about ready to sign up. Sign me up. I'm ready to
You have my information, Pastor. I will sign you up.
Definitely. I tell you what, like, you will probably be hearing either from myself or from my CEO, my CEO slash CFO slash whatever other managerial roles that she has. But yeah, this is good information. And again, I want to encourage those of you that are tuned in. Do not hesitate, because as I shared with you all on Sunday, this is information that is at our disposal right now. That's free. This is a free service. This is free. People pay good money to sit in someone's office and have this information disseminated unto them. So I encourage you now, if you will, sir, please, ma'am, feel free to chime in with your questions, with your comments. Now is the time. And again, I know what someone may be thinking, because I'm not naive. I understand that there is reservations, there is hesitancy to ask that burning question that you have right now, because you don't want to ask it and someone assumed, oh, they credit must be jacked up. And so I say to you, sir, I say to you, ma'am, that's sitting on your hands, to keep from typing that question, because you don't want that assumption made. I say to you, as Thais said, don't let fear keep you from being the best you that you can be. It's in that, I mean, we strategically named. I know this ain't financial freedom. This is Let's Talk. So y'all, let's talk. But we strategically named it financial freedom. It ain't about being financially free, but it's about being able to think freely when it comes to our finances. We've been holding ourselves in bondage far too long by fear, by fear and by shame. And so the only way for us to overcome it is to be able to face it head on. And so I encourage you to ask those questions. So what? Go
How
ahead.
does labor impact? I said they can text me. If they don't want to type it in the chat, you can text me.
Awesome.
You can text me. You can email me, and I will respond. Nobody has to know. So late payments. Late payments definitely impact your credit score. Now, there's not an average of how much, but they do affect your credit score. And so we do have clients who have late payments removed off their credit and their credit score increased. So yes, it impacts your credit a lot. And yes, we're able to help you with that.
So you've heard all of these. I've heard again. I talked earlier about, what would you say to the skeptic? And I would be the first to tell you, I used to be one of those skeptics. And what would always say that's not true. I mean, that's just a way to get your money, because like you had said earlier, you did it on your own and got no progress. And I think back to when we've lost her, but she'll be back, y'all. So let me, I'm gonna pause where I was. Here we go. I told them that you would be back. So, thinking back to when when financially I was a wretch undone. And I too would, Google, what to do. And they tell you to send in a letter, and that the credit bureau has 30 days to respond, that if they don't respond within 30 days by law, they had to remove it from your credit. And olden days, you used to get, it was common practice usually when you would send it in to the bureaus, and some of the creditors wouldn't respond and it would fall off. But I guess they got hip to what people were doing, and so they started responding more promptly. And so it didn't happen. And so it's like, okay, if I wrote the letter and they didn't do it, what's going to change just by someone else, just by, me giving these people money to send in a letter from me that I could do for myself. What has been, for you, what was that what really, was that the spark for you that really ignited your flame, your passion for this, and seeing, okay, I sent in letters and got no results, but here they are. I've just gotten with them and they sent it in, and I had a nice bump. I think you said 125 point. That's a big jump. So
we have credit attorneys as well. That's included. So if you have any individuals who have, we had a teenager who someone used their credit and purchased a home, a whole entire home. And so they had their the police report, and they reached out to our credit attorneys and they assisted them. So that's included. You don't have to worry about that, because you don't have to go out and find an attorney to provide it for you. I see someone asked, would it make sense piggy bank to save in? Yes, I have a piggy bank for my child as well. But also investing in stocks. I think that is something that, we should do for our children. We should invest in stocks. I myself I want to learn how to invest in stocks, because I see, these children, they have money. It's financially for them and they are set. So definitely invest market. I learned that you can save money, you can put money in the bank and save.
we're going to get her to pick back up on that point. I think she's having a few technical issues again, but she should be back on with us shortly, you all. I like what she was saying about encouraging children to invest in stocks. Okay, we're going to have you pick back up on that thought, because you really captivated my attention when you were talking about having stocks for kids to invest
Yeah,
in?
I think that is something that is that we need to do for our children. We need to invest in stocks for our children, not only for ourselves, but our children as well, because they have a longer lifespan than we do. So it's about the next generation. You know, it is about us now, but it is definitely about the next generation. Make sure that one of your goals is to break generational curses, because if you look at where you are now, think about where your children will be if you make smarter decisions. Because you have to think,
Wow.
you're going to get older, right? So who's going to take care of you? Who's going to have
Wow.
the funds to take care of you? You know, it's crazy because I actually was sitting in a class, and when I tell you I was the youngest one there, and they were speaking on um how much it's going to cost to live when I'm 32, when I'm in my 70s and my 80s. A nursing home is going to range between 100,000 and up. Can you afford that now? You have to think for your future. You can't just think for now.
That is awesome. I say at Jeanette post, yes, children investment is very thoughtful. That's true. And when you said that, the reason why I said wall is like you must have been reading my thoughts, because I was thinking about that over the weekend. Of course, we know we just Valentine was just this past weekend, and my wife, being the CEO again as she is, she was asking me on Sunday, reminding me everyone that I needed to call to wish her a happy Valentine's too. And she asked me, "Did you get um, Vicky, our daughter? Did you get her gift?" And I was like, "Yeah." I texted her and told her happy Valentine's. And I had made up my mind that this year for Valentine, rather than giving my daughter a material gift, something that I give her, it's like, I'm done giving her gifts. She's of the age now where, she's an adult. She should, it's like for now on, her gifts is going to be a stock. So I had text her, Sunday morning, wished her happy Valentine's, and I told her, it's like, and go on. I sent her a link for Robinhood, which is an investment site. I sent her the link. I was like, download this app, and when you do, let me know. I'm going to give you $50 to invest in a stock. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about that on Sunday. It's like, for now on, that's going to be my gifts to her. It's going to be a stock. And I was like, I'm already, I guess it goes to show you how old I'm getting, because I've, started thinking for us, like, you know what? And that's what I'm going to do for our grandchildren, rather than giving them all of these gifts. And, because kids, they get everything anyway. It's like, rather than giving them more gifts for them to play with one or two times, and it starts collecting dust, and then eventually makes its way to Goodwill. It's like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the same thing for our grandchildren. I'm going to give them, stock, something that's going to be able to accumulate and not depreciate. And so when you said that, I was like, wow, that just serves as confirmation from my thought processes now in terms. And so for me, that's the big I guess do-over that I wish I had, is that I had done that with our daughter when she was much younger, as opposed to now realizing. And so now I kind of see what my parents used to always say about my daughter, in terms of how the relationship with the grandchild kind of is so much more different, I guess, because you're wiser and you begin to realize some of the stuff that you didn't do. And I guess grandkids, that's like the do-over opportunity. So I'm looking forward to my do-over opportunity now. And Bridget say, yes, stocks are great gifts. I get that from hearing such great tutelage, Bridget, from you and Anita, and phenomenal job that y'all are doing with financial freedom, and instilling and hammering in us to always think in terms of accumulation. And Jeanette says, that's what I do with my grandkids, teach how to spend less and save more. That is so true. So true. Um, so yes, that's good. That's another great golden nugget that you shared with us. Any other questions, comments, y'all? Hey, I'm ecstatic as I expressed to you before we came live. I'm appreciative of you joining on today. I'm looking forward to another appearance to share, continue to share information for those of you that may haven't missed her contact information that she shared earlier. We will be posting it to the Facebook page as well as to the website so that you, if you do have additional questions for Thais, you're able to get in touch with her and run those questions by her. As always, um, again, thank you, Bridget, for the connection. And so, rather than saying thank you for being a guest, I thank you for joining us in this discussion that will surely continue.
Yes.
And anything you want to say in closing?
One more thing I want to say, and this is for someone who's skeptical. It just came to me. My first lady, Lorana Phelps, right? She's a pastor. And she said, you know, I sit on the front row seat. I have Gucci bags. I have this, I have that. But my credit score was horrible. And so she realized she needed to fix herself. And so sometimes you have to sit back and say to yourself, what do I need to do to fix me? Not fix anybody else, but fix me. And if you're married, you know, if you're trying to purchase a property, I want you to know that they look at both of your credit scores. It's not just one credit score they look at both. So you have to match your partner, because if you don't match your partner, they're going to go with the lowest credit score. And so you want to make sure that you are matching your partner, you are matching your mate. Otherwise, it's just going to be one person on that loan. So fix yourself, look in the mirror and say, what do I need to do to take care of my finances? What do I need to do for my children? What do I need to do for my parents, my grandparents? What do I need to do for me? Who's going to take care of me? Am I going to have enough money to do this? Am I going to have enough money to do that? Is my credit score going to be good enough in case anything happens that I'm able to use my credit? Or am I going to have to beg and plead with somebody? Can you co-sign for me? Can you co-sign for me? Can you co-sign for me? Because, you know, when you keep getting so many no's, you kind of, you get turned off. You know, you say, you know what, everybody keep telling me no. But if you fix yourself, can't nobody tell you no, because you fixed you. So that was the last thing I had to say, Pastor.
There was preachment in that statement. There was some preaching in that statement about couples and wanting their scores to be equally planed. That there was some preaching in that. Oh man, there was some preaching. Hey y'all, thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna leave that alone. Thank y'all for tuning in on this evening for Let's Talk. As always, I appreciate you all joining in. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your questions. Without you all being willing to view what we're bringing forward to you, there would be no need for us to be on here. So as long as you all stay interested, we're going to do our part, do our best to provide you some relatable information that you can relate to, information that you can utilize. But most importantly, I want to continue. I want to hear from you all. Let me know what it is that you're wanting to hear And I think this right here, like I said when we started, good meat makes its own gravy. Thank you again, Thais, for bringing forth Wagyu beef on today. You have brought forth the Wagyu. You ain't bring that old regular beef to the table, that old tough stuff. You came to with that marbleized Wagyu. Not only did you bring the marbleized Wagyu, but you cooked it just right. So we thank you again for sharing that information, and we're going to share your information. Hey, y'all, until we meet again, y'all know what I always say in closing. I love you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Y'all have a blessed evening.